Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over my top 5 best anime this spring season, just off of the first impressions, getting off a couple, 2, 3, or 4 episodes really. So before we get into that, self-explanatory, don't have to go too long on the intro, but I do want to inform you guys about a new project that I'm going to be a part of. And by project, I mean a podcast. I'll be in a podcast with 2 other YouTubers, Taiyo and mynameisdoofy. You may know them already. You may not know them already. You can go check out their channels. I'll have them linked individually. But above those links, I'll probably have the link, as long as it's all ready and set up, for our podcast called the Anime Super Simps, or aka the ASSCAST. Yes, we're super brilliant, we're geniuses, but yeah, even though it's called the ASSCAST, you expect to be ass, we're just trying to lower the standards, and you'll be like, damn, this is actually pretty good. They're kind of lying to themselves there. But yeah, hopefully it's a fun podcast for you. Definitely the show is pretty relevant because I'll be talking about every single anime this season within that video. Unlike this video where it's really just the top stuff, you'll get all 3 of our opinions on every anime that we have been watching. It's generally a tier list just of all the anime we're watching. And you know what? Let's show you a highlight right now.
Ethan Zero, best anime 2021.
Doofy, get a life. That thing's crap.
I will put it in. I will put it below. Above combatants.
What? You're actually gonna give it a D?
Yes.
Are you guys fucked in the head?
I'm asking you, bro. Doofy, you're fucked in the head.
What's the problem with it?
Everything.
That's not an answer, Taiyo. What's the problem?
Yeah, they're sexualizing the hell out of that girl, bro. They're just like, those boobies, hell yeah. And she's like 12.
Bro, I'm not watching it for the boobies.
Alright, so hopefully that looked enticing. There should be a link to that video, as if it's ready, I don't know. I may upload this before then, and if that's the case. But the channel link will be down there as well, so go check that out. Thank you guys if you do. But to go on this video, we'll start off with my number 5, which is the most interchangeable point, where there's just, it's a very enjoyable anime, but there's a lot that are just as enjoyable. I gave it a little bit of edge. So the honorable mentions, I guess, Shao's House, Uzumaki, where the childhood friend doesn't lose, Let's Make a Bug 2, I've Been Killing Slimes for 300 years, blah blah whatever, and Mars Red. Those are the honorable mentions. The one I think edged out all these just by a little bit, a little margin, is Tokyo Revengers. Now, it's kind of an action shonen, but not the typical, you know, battle action shonen super tropey. It seems to be a little bit different, where the plot is pretty much, we have this dude, he doesn't have too much stakes in life, and he hears on the news that his girlfriend in the past had died. And when hearing that, he kind of realized, you know, how important she actually was, and how kind of just leaving her just kind of made his life super boring and put him into this very mundane, very lackluster position in life he is now. And then he's just going along with his day, and he ends up almost dying. That's why he gets sent back in time 12 years to the point where he was, and it's pretty much a time plot where he's going to try and save her, and they can go back and forth in time just a little bit. I'm not going to try to have all the details just spelled out, but that's a general thing. It's going to be like a lot of gang fights, because he's like a part of a gang, and they're going trying to be stopping a gang that ends up killing the girlfriend in the future. So it's definitely interesting like that. So I don't know, take that for how you will. And I'm not very much a action shonen type of person. I know, crazy. Definitely the battle ones. And this isn't a battle one, so maybe that's why I'm liking it more. But give it credit, it's from a genre type that I've not shown too much interest in. Yet I'm showing interest in this one, so It could just be that it's unique for its field in that way. but I just think it's one of the better ones. Ones that don't make me be like, man, this kind of sucks. No, I'm interested in this one. I think it's very cool. The cast is a little bit lackluster, like a bunch of the characters. They haven't been crazy at like building up. It could be a little bit more slow paced. But like the main character's actually done very well. I think he's being written pretty well off just the 2 episodes that we've seen. I think it's done quite solid, so I'm just going to give it credit there. It's doing okay with its character writing, but it's definitely keeping my interest. It's definitely one I'm going to have more focus on during this season, as it has a lot of enticement to it. But continuing on, my number 4, which is a very weird spot. I didn't think I would be saying this one, but it's Full Dive, the ultimate next-gen RPG. Is shittier than real life. That's the full title. I know, a title that long, yet it's going to be in the top here. It's actually good programming. I know, it surprised me as well. I really wasn't expecting too much from it. I think the advertising was definitely a little bit smart in that respect, that it set the bar low immediately. Like, I remember the first promotional image, it's like, oh, is this going to be like one of the ecchi isekais? And though it has like small little hint, it's actually more towards the serious side, which honestly, you get ecchi, non-serious, just funny haha isekai, and there's very few like serious ones. Like maybe of one of them, like ReZero is the most famous example of like isekai where it really tries to take itself seriously. One that big flops is I'm Standing on a Million Lives. That's one that tries to take itself seriously. That's a big flop. And this is not another case of I'm Standing on a Million Lives. For people who had watched that, if you're like a seasonal watcher since fall, you may have watched it and you may have been like, oh man, this sucks. No, I think this is not going to disappoint you this time. Full Dive, like the title says, it's actually selling itself pretty well to how it is. It's an RPG that's shittier than real life. So pretty much the world concept is that it's a bit in the future. Games have like developed super far that you can do almost anything. They've set up so it's like you can get transferred in a game. Everything feels super real and stuff. But the thing was that nobody likes that. They're like, oh man, they's being like super realistic. Take all the fun out of it. And now it's just kind of shit. So everyone just moved back to their old, you know, JRPG stuff. And that's how the world is. But, you know, there's copies, old copies of, you know, these highly realistic games just still around. And our main character kind of just gets screwed out of a deal and ends up buying it. And it's just like, whatever. And he does enter into the game. And he's surprised on how realistic it is. He did not play too many of the like super realistic games because like they suck. And you know, it kind of shows how much the game sucks. It's super highly realistic, and it fits. It fits that well. It's a game that does feel shittier than real life, and the main character really like gets screwed over at the start because he's just didn't take anything too seriously. He tried, but he didn't know what he's doing. He messes up, gets in like a really bad like game route, and like they set up the world be like super realistic. You can play this game and you could just mess up horribly and kind of screw yourself for the rest of the game. And I think that's actually really cool. I said it's one of the more serious ones. I do think it's serious. It does know how to take a little bit of lightness to it as well. Knows that, you know, it may be hard for people to take isekais seriously because so many people just have a bad reception to them. So they know how to keep it a little bit light so they can try and ease you into it and try to keep you on this more serious tone, which I think is definitely hard to do with the reputation it has. But surprisingly, I think it's doing it very well. It's being a little bit more gritty, and for people who hate like the overpowered main characters, he like fits the absolute opposite of that description, where he's not like completely useless, but it's super realistic. So his skills in the real world just get adapted. And since he was on the track team, he can kind of run. He can run decently. That's literally it. He has no powers otherwise. He sucks ass. So yeah, you don't have to deal with like an overpowered main character. Generally the characters are done very well. I'm really enjoying it. It will definitely try and get more ReZero vibes. I think that was definitely the decision they were going for. They're like, alright, we have to put them thinking about like another serious isekai. The OP is done by the same singer for the last OP for ReZero, their last one for the second season part 2. So I feel they were kind of intentionally doing that. A lot of their marketing on this one was smart, and it's definitely one of the better isekai shows. Definitely going to be one of the higher rated ones in my list of them all. It's hard to describe it, hard to sell people on it. Again, it's isekai, but I think this one's pretty good. If you want to give it a shot, go ahead. I don't think it will be that disappointing. So, yeah. On to number 3, which, man, this is easy sell. You probably sold already. Super Cub. Do I have to say more? I think I could just skip on to the next one. But no, Super Cub, it's pretty much a slice of life. And pretty much it just has this girl. She doesn't really have parents. She just lives alone in this house. You can honestly sense how depressing it is, and it's exactly how it's supposed to be. And, you know, it makes it really warming when you see her smile. Like, we joke around a little bit. We're like, man, her smile, it can cure anything. It can cure any illness, man. And, like, it's a joke, but that smile does a lot. Like, that smile puts this show up towards, like, an 8. Just alone. I think it's done very well. The one complaint I would say is, like, the animation. You know, I'm going to complain a bit CGI. It's not even bad at CGI, but, you know, you just wish for a show that's all about vehicles, they would get people who, like, really know how to animate vehicles. But again, it's from a pretty underground studio that probably only did, like, a little bit of side work on other things. It only has a few projects under its name. So yeah, like, I'm not going to complain too much about the animation. The actual, like, content of itself is actually very enjoyable. Again, it's super light, nothing crazy to it. It's a very, like, low-key, you know, slow, nice and easy slice of life. Like, it feels even slower than Laid Back Camp. It's not going to try and, like, throw a bunch of, like, comedy bits at you. It's definitely something that you just slowly watch, you sit down, relax, and you just calmly watch it. It's one of those type of shows. I think the actual concept of building of it has been really good. Again, you just really like the main character. She's definitely very lovable. I don't know how much to say. It's hard to sell persons like, so it's this cool ass show where a high school girl gets a used cub and drives it around at 20 miles per hour for the first 3 episodes. Like, yeah, it's a little bit hard to sell, but hey. It's good programming, all right? But for our second one, I'm going to be going with I Shaved, Then I Brought Home a High School Girl. I know, sounds kind of sus. Some of the things that get shown in the show are kind of sus. And I will be not showing, like, clips of any of that sus stuff, because definitely it's a show that rides on uncomfortability. If anyone, for my American audience, you know Joker was a big film, and it was definitely something that rived on being a more uncomfortable thing to watch. It's something, I think, written like that. That was the purpose it's going for. That's what it's doing. I think it's doing it well. If you're a person who doesn't like shows or programming that makes you feel uncomfortable, I know people that definitely are, because I did watch the Joker movie with my dad fucking hated that movie. He felt too uncomfortable and he didn't like it. I actually really liked it. So if you can make a gauge on that, it's definitely going to fill a lot of uncomfortable moments for sure. But if you're ready for that, if you're ready to sit down, you can kind of get how it may be uncomfortable just from the title. There's going to be older, like a 26-year-old and a high schooler, and they're going to try to put romance in there, and it's going to try being uncomfortable during those moments, but generally it's actually made to be a great human drama. And I think even human drama elements is going to get darker, just from like some of the symbolism in the OP. From where I'm sensing, it could be even darker in that sense, on the human drama element, and also be uncomfortable even more, but in a different way. And I do think a lot of it's really good. I think it's going to be amazing human drama. Definitely one to put down. There's a reason I put it high on this list. And I just definitely like how all the dialogue's written out. Everything feels, you know, pretty smart, pretty well written. It's something to easily enjoy. It's definitely something you put your brain to, put your thinker on while watching. It isn't just a like brainless, mindless show. It's going to try to be deep. It's going to try to cut hard. It's going to try to make you think about shit. So if that's the type of thing you like, and you're ready for something that may make you feel uncomfortable at points, I would definitely go for the show. But if that's not your thing, if you're not into like the human dramas or something that may make you uncomfortable at points, I would steer clear of this one by far. So it's a little bit divisive in that nature, but if it's divisive in a way towards your liking, I think you'll really enjoy it. So yeah, that's that show. Pretty self-explanatory. Don't have to explain the plot as it's explained in the title. But the last one I already knew this was going to be the hype one. I didn't want to admit it at first, within my first, like, you know, just saying shows that were coming out. But I knew. I had the idea that, like, this one was going to be good. I just didn't want to say it because I could absolutely, like, clown myself if it was bad. But no, this one was promising, and it did the job. It's Vivy's Flourite Eye Song. It's my number one. I am really, really enjoying this one. More than I actually would have thought that I would enjoy it. Now, it looks a little bit like an idol anime to a certain extent. Definitely certain things may look like an idol anime at points, but no, it's not. There is idol elements, and people are definitely going to be calling it the one idol anime people watch who are not into idol anime. And that's with fair respect. It's more of a action sci-fi show, as we have this AI robot, which is idol pretty much to a certain extent, that has info data from the future that's telling her, hey, AIs are going to take over the world. We need to stop that. I'm going to need you to help change the events that had happened, so we don't have that happen. So yeah, please do that. And it's a pretty crazy action one. You may know I'm not good at explaining things, but oh my god, this show is so good. It's animated by Wit. That was something I acknowledged before. And yeah, Wit, it's known for good animation. It's doing it here as well. They're not, you know, pulling back at all. The writing is done super well. I'm really liking it. I'm definitely getting super engaged with a lot of it. The OP is so goddamn good. I've listened to it over and over already. Immediately when the full thing released, I'm like, alright, I'm just rewatching the hell out of it. And even like just the like minute 30 part, I'm like, oh man, I just got to rewatch it over and over. Like it was something I'm super hyped about. It's getting compared a lot to my very favorite show, number one, Violet Evergarden. So take that for all you will. If you watch Violet Evergarden, yes, I say the comparisons are actually a little bit close. It's not BS on that comparison. So if you're a Violet Evergarden fan, you may want to watch this one. I don't think it's as good, but like it's doing its job. It's being really good. I can see this going in one of my favorite slots in top 10 easily. It's such a cool action one. Like the fight scene's really good, the music super good. It's an idol show, so you know, they're known for good music. But put that in with like action stuff. It's definitely an idea that's never been tackled before, but it totally had the potential. And with the people working on it, that potential is going to be shown out. Definitely interesting. I want to see where it goes. It's probably going to be settled within these, like, you know, 13 episodes, and we'll see everything that happens. And it's something that hypes me every single Saturday. I'm like, man, I need to watch this. It's super cool. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys liked and enjoyed. Again, as the shout out in the start of the video, go check out that podcast. We talked about like every anime that was airing. I watched 27, so 5 feels like a drop in the bucket talking about it. But yeah, it's hard to talk about in a single video here. Again, it was like 20 minutes to talk about 5 here, but in that video we talked about everything, and we get 2 other creators as well. We got to argue about things. It's very fun. It was a very good video, I think, in my eyes. So I hope you guys do enjoy it. I hope you guys are liking the podcast, and hope you guys will, you know, consume it, watch it, and think it's great. If it's, give us criticism as well. That'd be nice. Very useful thing. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you liked and enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.